how do you call a little kid who's dark skinned, who's, washing themselves with bleach? You can't say this kid is a racist in the classical sense of prejudicial views against people of color or black people, and yet somewhere that child has learned that there is something wrong about themselves and they should correct it. And to me, white supremacy is a useful term because it encompasses the fact that we can have a 5-year-old who's looked at enough television in our nation to have an understanding that white is better.
But I'm just a soul whose intentions are good. Oh Lord, please don't let me be misunderstood.
I think the number one myth about folks that are experiencing homelessness is that, especially among single men, that they are drug addicts and alcoholics, that they're lazy, that they're thieves, that they're pedophiles, and various other and sundry negative things.
A few meters away, Eric is getting ready to spend another night in his car, even though it's full to the brim. The former computer engineer will sleep sitting behind the wheel. It's a world away from the comforts of his old life.
And one thing that I've really found out about this is that, the typical stereotype of, the homeless person being lazy and not wanting to work or being a drug addict. That may be the case in some places, but the people I've come to in this program, most of them are very hardworking, people that want to get ahead, that either have some health issues or have had a streak of bad luck, or for whatever reason, they've come into this situation. Some people are able to get out of it quickly, some people it takes longer.
not far from the shareholders meeting, Neil, and I know you love McDonald's almost as much as you love Adele, but they were under fire today, as you point out, as they are every year. These protesters want $15 an hour as what they call a living wage. I tell you, talk to some of them in the crowd. There's one woman I met, Adriana Alvarez, and I pointed out, you know, the company did say we'll pay an extra dollar above whatever the local minimum wage is. She says she makes $9 an hour, but they don't let her work 40 hours, so she gets no overtime, gets no benefits. She said that's just not right. I said, well, why don't you go somewhere else? You're a smart girl. Why don't you go somewhere else and get a better job?
Black community. The second reality in the black community is there's too much violence in the black community. So a black will die 1% or less at the hands of the police and 99% at the hands of a civilian, most often another black. So if you want to protect black lives, then you got to protect black lives not just against police, which happens rarely, although with tremendous attention, and which happens every 14 hours in Chicago, every 14 hours, and we never hear from Black Lives Matter. Well, so if you want to deal with this on the black side, you've got to teach your children to be respectful to the police, and you've got to teach your children that the real danger to them is not the police. The real danger to them, 99 out of 100 times, 9,900 out of 1,000 times, or other black kids who are going to kill them. That's the way they're going to die in the black community. And what we got to hear from the black community is how and what they are doing among themselves about the crime problem in the black community.
In Chicago, they found a woman who holds the record. She used 80 names, 30 addresses, 15 telephone numbers to collect food stamps, Social Security, veterans benefits for 4 non-existent deceased veterans' husbands, as well as welfare. Her tax-free cash income alone has been running $150,000 a year.
Sometimes, baby, I'm so carefree, with a joy that's hard to hide. And then sometimes